Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review this little indie comedy, Banana Split. And this is starring and written by Hannah Marks and directed by Benjamin Kusulk. And this film is about a young woman who, the opening 5 minutes or so, takes you through her whole entire relationship from meeting to breaking up with a little less emotion than the opening of Up. Kind of reminded me of that. It was trying to do that thing where it's like, let's go through the whole entire relationship of a couple in the beginning moments of the film, except then there aren't giant birds and talking dogs and weird stuff like in Up. This takes a more traditional route of teenage coming-of-age story, but with a little bit of a twist. Because honestly, how often do you see a couple breaking up and then your young antagonist, this young woman, becomes best friends with her ex's new girlfriend? I honestly can't recall seeing that a whole lot in coming-of-age stories, so I'm like, okay, that's something a little different. But you can definitely tell there's so much heart in this film because Hannah Marks wrote this screenplay, and she's this lead actor playing April, and she brings a lot of heart and charm into this, and that's what I can say about this film. This has tons of charm, charisma, chemistry between these different characters. There's just this fun, crazy dynamic with her mother and her sister, where the mom's so loving of her two daughters, but can't stand the fact that they just argue all the time. And this younger 13-year-old sister has the hots for her boyfriend and is very protective of him, and just those interactions, and there's such a nice little payoff towards the end of the film about that subplot of her little family. But honestly, Hannah Marks and Liana Liberato, who play April, and Clara, who's the new girlfriend, there's so much chemistry, and they work really well together. And it's interesting because it isn't a romantic relationship between them, but it uses a lot of that energy and story threads that you would see in a romantic relationship. And you really feel their connection really well. And it's interesting because it's you don't see as much of the relationship between Clara and Nick, this ex-boyfriend played by Dylan Sprouse. You don't really see why they're together because you don't really see that connection a whole lot. But it gets messy. And teenage life is messy. Love is messy. And yeah, you've probably seen things like this before, but I feel like this film really packs a lot of charm and a lot of energy into it. And it's a very different dynamic that you get to see between these two young women about friendship and sisterhood instead of focusing everything on a relationship. And in the end, the relationships that really matter at the end of this film are friendships. And I think that's a nice message where it's love can come and go, but you always really need those friendships and those people that are always there for you and to have that connection with. And this film spends a lot of time montaging relationships, and I feel like they might have benefited from fleshing out those relationships a little bit more than just a couple minutes of intense, their whole entire friendship or relationship in such a couple of minutes. But I feel like this film is a nice little zippy teenage comedy that has a lot more charm and heart than a lot of your run-of-the-mill teenage coming-of-age stories. But I really enjoyed Banana Split. Banana Split. I really enjoyed this film. I'd recommend it. It's streaming right now on Netflix. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.